No one really cares too much about what you're doing. And if you just keep posting, eventually you'll find success.
Welcome to Aha Moments with me, Kobi Omenaka. Today I'm joined by Jake Ward. Jake is an SEO powerhouse, a LinkedIn creator, and the founder of Kleo. If you don't know what Kleo is, it's a Chrome extension that helps you revolutionize what you do on LinkedIn.
I was surprised, really. I don't know why, though, because I found it so helpful for myself. And I think that's why I continue to build the thing that I want the most in it as a LinkedIn creator, because if it worked for me back then and it's continued to work for me now, like the tools we're building and shipping to you guys right now, people love them. So I'm thinking, if I could carry on building the thing that I want, hopefully a lot of people will want it as well.
Jake in this episode takes us through his journey from creating Kleo, his background in SEO and digital marketing, and how he's helped tens of thousands of LinkedIn creators reach their goals. You'll hear his growth secrets, his LinkedIn strategies, and the aha moments that have shaped his magnificently successful career to date.
Normally it's the simple things in life that are really, people get it. People really get it. We've layered on some benefits if they sign up, and this is all for free. So it's like making it the most no-brainer offer that we can think of.
Stick around for practical insights, game-changing tips, and a closer look at Kleo Pro, which isn't quite live yet. But if you want to get on the wait list, we'll show you how to do that right now. If you like what you hear in this episode, check out the show notes to find out how you can get in contact with Jake and connect with him on LinkedIn. Jake, thank you so much for joining me. Welcome to AmPod. How are you guys? How are you doing? As we're speaking, it's before Christmas. Kleo has been alive in the Chrome extension for a while, and Kleo Pro has just launched the founding team. How are you feeling about things right now, and how are you feeling about the future going forward?
Yeah, very well, very good. So yeah, there's quite a few building things going on at the end of this year with my SEO agency. There's a few projects in there. The Byword, we're doing a whole rebrand and redesign of the product. And then obviously Kleo, we've just pre-launched to 550 founding members. So yeah, all looking good for going into 2025. So I'm very excited to get this year out of the way and to start next year.
Is this like the most you've been teed up to start the new year? Do you think?
Oh god, yeah. And it's been hectic.
This might be redundant for you guys listening because it will be 2025 by the time you hear this, but how does that feel for you now?
Yeah, it feels good. It feels good. I think this year has been a big year in terms of learning, lots of new experiences, lots of traveling, seeing new places, different cultures. And then the latter end of this year was all about just building for 2025. So I'm excited to see the fruits of all that labor.
Yeah, awesome. I just want to go back into your background a bit before we go into talking about, I guess, mainly Kleo Pro. So what were you doing before you became an SEO specialist, SEO expert?
Yeah, so I left school at 16 and didn't really know what I wanted to do, but my goal was always to work from a laptop. And in reality, looking back now, that just means have the freedom to work wherever I want to, really. So what I did was I found the nearest to that in my local town and got an apprenticeship at a print marketing agency. So I was doing print for about 2-3 years, and me being the youngest person there, they tasked me with a job of like, okay, how do we get more website visitors? How do we get more customers from online? So I said, okay, leave it with me. And I discovered ads, Google ads, Facebook ads, all of them, SEO, social media marketing, all of it. And I fell in love with SEO. And I actually did it for, I think, 2 years as a hobby before I made any money from it. It was just like creating my own sites, understanding the psychology behind why someone would click on you and then do a conversion, the science behind ranking a page. So I really learned all that by myself over those 2 years. And then finally was like, okay, I should probably take this a little bit more seriously. So I then looked for a SEO agency in my local area to work at. Very quickly found that, they actually aren't that great within the agency. And I could probably make way more money with way less clients and work wherever I want to if I just did it by myself. So that's what I did. That was when I was 20 or 21, I can't remember.
So this is nice when a lot of people are gone to university and they're amassing that debt like I did. you could really kind of coalesce on the thing that makes you happy and you're good at ultimately, and is going to drive revenue for now going forward.
Exactly. Yeah, I always say that the last few years, so age 18 to about 23, 24 was the best university I could have asked for. And I got paid for it and learned some real world skills and all the experience. So I'm glad I went down that route rather than the education system.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair play. Yeah, I lean heavily on the SEO and paid search side of things, and I think there's so much that's always ongoing, so much to learn. And I don't lean so much into Google's algorithmic changes where you get a lot of really technical SEO people. I'm just about, let's find what people want to know about. Let's make sure we're writing content for them. Let's make sure we're presenting in a way that makes sense to them and engages them and brings them in. What's your kind of SEO and search?
Yeah, I mean that's the 80-20 of it, right? I like to oversimplify things as well, and you've pretty much nailed it on the head. Obviously, there's some stuff in the other 20% that you can do that's kind of a little bit more technical, and you change your alt text to this and blah blah blah. But I tend not to bother with all that stuff. I think generally what it comes down to is understanding what people are searching and try and do this on a large scale. So we like to collect all the keywords that potential customers are searching. We group them into individual topics, and then we're saying, okay, now we have all the keywords, all the searches that people make. We can see all the topics that we can target. So now we'll just create the best piece of content that answers the user's query and provides them with whatever solution to their problem that they need. That's it in a nutshell. And then you just got to make sure that your site's not slow and all the technical bits are sorted. And if you can, do as much digital PR, backlinks, all that sort of stuff, because that's really what you need those votes for your website to get found by Google as well. So as long as you cover all those three, you're sorted.
Now, I'm going to come back on this when we talk about Kleo. But what's this company called that you created based on SEO?
It's called Contact. Contact.so.
It's called Contact. Okay.
I merged my agency, which was previously called Content Growth, and we merged about a year ago now.
So most people know you from being quite prolific on LinkedIn, and that's where we've seen a lot of people who've stuck their head above the parapet. People like yourself and like Pierre Hurubel, for example, I follow quite closely because within the digital marketing sphere, it's good to see people sharing really interesting things. And then you have the kind of other creators who are a bit more broad and talk about, I guess, productivity and self-improvement, I guess, and they attract people in that respect. Can you tell me about your focus on LinkedIn? Because this is something that I've started doing a lot more in the past 3 months, which has brought me to yourself.
Yeah. So I've been posting for, I think, between 2 and 2.5 years at this point. And the reason I went on LinkedIn is because I looked at all the channels that were available and I was like, no one's really owning LinkedIn from an SEO standpoint. Like, no, I don't see any SEOs dominating LinkedIn like I see them on X, YouTube, etc. So I was like, okay, this feels like a bit of a blue ocean to me and my potential business. I was just a freelancer at the time, and started posting. And I think in the first month, which blew my mind, I got like 30 qualified leads. So I was like, oh, I need to build a team. I need to create more content. How am I going to manage everything? So I've just been riding that wave ever since, really. I've just been posting, mostly consistent every day for about 2 years. And yeah, luckily been able to build 3 successful business on the top of it.
Can you tell me about those, I guess, how LinkedIn was then when you first started posting to what it is like now? Because I saw I think you declared your first post and it was quite slight, but then that got you a bunch of followers. And then, like I say, that first month getting 30 qualified leads, that's kind of insane.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I agree. I think I was looking at a lot of people at that time before I started, and because it was my 2022 goal, I think it was, to actually start posting, but it took me until September to do it. And I was procrastinating. Wow. I was researching, I was trying to keep busy, but realistically, I just needed to post. So I was looking at all the creators that were like just starting or started to blow up. And I was like, this seems easy. It seems easy. And, luckily it was for me, because I managed to put into time to understand how to do the same thing, and it worked. So I think it's different now because there's way more people on the platform, which means LinkedIn's going to show your content to less people. I still think it's probably the easiest place to grow online, and I'll always stand by that. And yeah, so there are some huge changes. The different formats are working now. LinkedIn's obviously rewarding video a lot more. They're trying to promote that side of their business, which makes sense. And so yeah, you just got to keep up to date with the trends and just keep publishing the best content you possibly can, and you'll still find success.
Before we get to Kleo, you said about the procrastination side of things. Can you dig into that a bit? Because I think that's one of the things that stops most people, and I think there's different reasons for procrastination. And what have you kind of come across in your experience now? I'm sure people reach out to you and say, hey, look, can you help me out, please?
I think the two common ones are, one, people don't want to fail. They don't want to put a post out and no one ever sees it. That's not good for the ego. And so you got to just remove the ego and just keep going, and you will find success there. The second one is, oh, what will so-and-so think? Like people from school or my ex-employer or whatever. But in reality, no one really cares about you. No one really cares. So if anything, like, I had both of those thoughts. And when I did my first post and my first few posts later, I had all my friends who I was connected to on LinkedIn, they were reaching out saying, carry on, this is incredible. It's like they were supportive of anything. So I think people will always support you if they're great friends. And no one really cares too much about what you're doing. And if you just keep posting, eventually you'll find success. So don't worry about, post flopping. That always happens.
I think that I've noticed when I've seen my friends posting more on LinkedIn or any platform, I do recognize that there is a barrier to entry for people, and I do recognize there is that fear from a variety of different points. So I do always point out, like, dude or mate, keep going. I like what you're doing, and then also just say, look, you'll be able to look at the standard that you have now compared to where you were 3 months ago, and you'll just see that improvement. And don't worry about it. Just keep going, keep pushing through, keep producing content, and you should eventually see success. It might not be tomorrow, it might not be in a year's time, but there will be something from it as long as you have a clear, I guess, strategy and trajectory, right?
And I think that would change, his thought process going forward. So I think if you see any of your friends doing it, then try and be as supportive as possible. Give them help, give them advice, and hopefully they'll repay you in some way later on down the line. But I think if you can do that for friends, that's probably the best thing you can do, especially if they're starting their new business and everything like that.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so Kleo, at the moment there's a fair few apps to help people with their posting on LinkedIn, the strategy, the content. Can you tell me why you made Kleo? And give us a bit of a background and history behind it, and I guess a synopsis.
Yeah, it's a funny one actually, because I built it for myself about 4 or 5 months into my LinkedIn journey. So this is well over a year ago now. But I didn't tell anyone about it for like 8 months. I was just using it by myself because it's what I wanted for myself. I wanted to be able to go to someone's LinkedIn profile, see all their top content, and understand how they have achieved what they've achieved, take inspiration from their content, take ideas, post ideas, make them my own. So I wanted that to exist, but it just didn't on LinkedIn. So I got my friend from primary school. Since we were like 9 years old, we've always, been friends and played Xbox together, did everything together growing up. And I reached out to him and I was like, hey mate, can you build this thing for me? And we did, and I think it cost me like £700 or something.
Oh wow!
Yeah, very very good deal. And but it was very basic. Like it's not the Kleo you see today. It was very scrappy, but it did what I wanted to do. It didn't store any of the data, so every time I had to go to someone's profile, I'd have to refresh their post again, even if I just did it yesterday. So now we're actually storing data. It's a whole different ballgame. So I built it for myself, and then I showed it to a few people. I was like, oh, hey, do you want to use this? Like, I know you said you wanted to analyze and study other creators a little bit more. And they're like, yes, this is exactly what I want. So I was like, the more and more I did that, I realized that, I might actually have something here that people want at a large scale. And then, fast forward a year, it's got 45,000 users.
Yeah, insane. I'm sure that's going to improve more and more and increase more and more as this year goes on. Yeah. Like I say, you kind of, like I said at the start, you kind of set yourself up for 2025. And that's available as the Chrome extension at the moment, and that's free.
Completely free, and it will always be free, that version.
Yeah, fantastic. Because in my digital marketing, with my digital marketing hat on, I know that one of the best routes to success is to look at other creators across TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and see what they're doing, iterate on it, and importantly, make it your own. So you're saying that thing is important with Kleo as well?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, that's the main thing about it. I read Austin Kleon's book, Steal Like an Artist, and it resonated me so much, because that's the way I did LinkedIn without knowing that's what I was doing. It was exactly that. I wasn't stealing content or anything like that. It was more about, I was just understanding the game and understanding what is needed to be taken to win at this. And taking ideas from other people and making them my own, remixing, repurposing, maybe even citing people if I've taken that much inspiration from them. Like, that was how I did it without reading that book. So when I read it, I was like, this is literally it. So to the point where, no one's actually said this, but Kleo.
When you said it then, I was like, oh, I know where it comes from.
Exactly. Yeah. But it was that much of an impact that I called Kleo after his last name, without the N, obviously.
That's superb. I love it. And I love my film and TV, and there's like often people point out with like Quentin Tarantino, for example, oh my God, he's ripping off this scene from this film. But that's not a problem, because he's making it also his own. No one's made Reservoir Dogs before. No one's made Pulp Fiction before, but sure, he's picking scenes that have been, and he's recreating scenes from other films that he's loved since he was a kid. But he's become a multi-award winning director from this, and that's great. And people going forward are going to take from Quentin going forward and use them in their own films and their own projects. And this is how the world works, right? And there's no reason why that doesn't apply to social media, becoming a creator on those platforms. And with Kleo, I've tried a few of the platforms. I'm not going to name them, but when I use Kleo, I was like, oh, this one's better. And it helped me maybe it's because you're an SEO person. So when I was looking for those kind of more niche SEO or content marketing, it helped. It produced a lot more results for me than the other ones did. So I very much appreciate and thank you for the time you put into it. That £700 you put in, a few years ago.
Yeah. No, it was well worth it.
So you tell me what's going on with Kleo Pro and where that's hopefully going to lead in 2025.
Yeah, so we're looking to launch the official version anywhere in January, February time. But what we wanted to do is get an initial group of people that really loves using Kleo to help us improve the product until that point. They can have early access to everything we're building right now, plus the community, plus any calls that we do, education I provide. They have all those benefits. So we wanted to get a group of those people so we can really hone the product and make it for them when it comes down to it. And very successful in that sense. We've got enough people that we feel like we can have a lot of feedback and really get the product to where it needs to be for the time we officially launch, which should hopefully be January, February time. And then from there, like there's so much we want to build, because I'm essentially building the tool that I want for myself, and as well as people, in the founding member community. So we are going from the whole workflow, from ideation, content ideation, all the way to creation, and eventually all the way past creation. So we're even thinking about CRM type stuff where you can actually nurture people that you're creating content for. So we really want to be like the all-in-one platform for LinkedIn, but actually do it in the right way, which, I don't think it has been done yet.
And with the community as it is now, because I reached out to you because I joined the Kleo Pro team, and I'm really impressed by a lot of the people who are involved in the community and like really giving back and sharing ideas and sharing like, hey, this would be awesome if you did this, and like you guys jumping on that saying, yes, I love that. So that shows that that small community you've started is yielding results, right?
100%. Like I've never been a community person. I always think, oh, they just take too much time and there's not a lot I can gain from it. But I hear all the time that community is the way forward. So I really try and invest a lot of time into it now to really understand how it all works and teach myself. And yeah, I've been proving completely wrong so far. It's been probably the best thing that I've done with this pre-launch.
And I think now, as different platforms iterate and change, I mean, recently I got kicked off Facebook because someone hacked into it, and I've no idea how they did it. And everything I tried to do to get it back, Facebook's
they're the worst.
Can't help you. So now I'm like, okay, maybe now's the time to build my own newsletter. Now's the time to work out how a community could work, just to house everyone that wants to be in touch with me or I want to relate to, in a place that's not touchable by external forces. Really, just own that community, own that space. So I'm looking very much at what you guys are doing, especially because I've just been there right from day one with the community. I'm going to be taking tips.
Yeah, the way I see it now is like it's almost your own social media channel, right? Your own social media where you can talk to the people that really believe in what you're building. So yeah, it's been an incredible initiative.
I like the notion of building exactly the tool that you wanted for yourself and continuing to do so. And we're going to go into the aha moments in a bit now. But what was that? What's it like when you're asking people, are you interested in this? And they almost bite your hand off, or what's that feel like when, like, okay, so it works for me, then it must work for other people?
Yeah, that's actually my first aha moment I had with Kleo is that initial bit of being like, oh, hey, create a friend, do you want this thing? And being like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. So I was like, oh, right, okay, so this is actually helpful. Because I was like, oh, it's way too simple to be anything worth people downloading, giving us their email for, whatever, or even to be wanted at a wide scale. But normally it's the simple things in life that are really, people get it. People really get it. So that was the first aha moment. It's like, okay, this has some legs. This has a need for creators. What was it like? I don't know. I think I was surprised, really. Like, I don't know why, though, because I found it so helpful for myself. And I think that's why I continue to build the thing that I want the most in it as a LinkedIn creator, because if it worked for me back then and it's continued to work for me now, like the tools we're building and shipping to you guys right now, people love them. So I'm thinking, if I could carry on building the thing that I want, hopefully a lot of people will want it as well.
So I love the idea that it's almost like a super MVP.
Yeah.
Like I said, in the first iteration, it worked for yourself. It was a pain in the ass to use, but also it yielded the results. And then there's that iteration, and there's the kind of improvement. So, I mean, I've got a lot of ideas in my head of things I'd like to just have for myself. So maybe that's a bit of inspiration for me to start building some things, building some projects, a few Chrome extensions.
Solving your own problems. That's what it comes down to.
This is it, yeah. Solving your own problems, exactly that. So, I guess I don't know if you've answered the first aha moment question, in that you've seen people using Kleo, and they've like almost grabbed your hand, they've almost bitten your hand off. How do you kind of navigate people to use Kleo in the first place? Then I know it's a free extension, so is it just simply have it, and then the Kleo Pro will provide more opportunities, will provide more features and benefits that maybe if you like Kleo in the free form, then you'll think I need to derive more value, and I'm happy to pay just a bit more for it.
Yeah, exactly. We made it as sort of easy as possible to get to the desired outcome. They want content inspiration. They want to be able to analyze other creators. You can install Kleo in about 2 clicks and then go to LinkedIn and instantly be able to do that. So we made it as easy as possible, as simple as possible, from the entering your email to getting the verification, all that sort of stuff. We made it as simple as possible to get to it in about a minute. And we also deliver a bunch of other benefits that they get when they sign up, which is like, loads of different templates and tips from big creators, all that sort of stuff. So we've layered on some benefits if they sign up, and this is all for free. So it's like making it the most no-brainer offer that we can think of.
Have you learned anything along the way in terms of kind of user onboarding with that? Were there any mistakes you made where you're like, let's...
Oh yeah, for sure.
Let's not do that again.
For the longest time, we didn't have any emails. We just had a very simple verify email, and we didn't send anything after it. No instructions on how to use it. It's like this is the majority of the time. We've just been like overly simple, where it's like you download it, install it, and hopefully you can just figure it out. But now we've actually provided a lot of instructions, got a whole guide, as well as all those benefits I mentioned before.
Well, I'm sure that really helps with your own headspace and the team's headspace. If you don't provide instructions which are clear, then you just get lots of support requests saying, okay, I've downloaded it, I think. Is it working? Yeah,
exactly.
What aha moments have you had, and like what was it like when you first realized them, and do you tell people about them as well?
I guess I don't think I've ever talked about an aha moment. I think it's quite a unique thing to talk about. But really, it should be the most important thing, within your business. Like, for example, just going back to my other 2 businesses with Byword, we built that before ChatGPT officially came out.
And so, explain what
Byword is. A blog AI writer that you can use for SEO content, and we've had 75,000 users over the last 2 years now, and we launched it as ChatGPT was becoming more of a thing. It was just before we launched it just before ChatGPT, and we just were riding the novelty and the wow, this is amazing sort of wave with AI at the time. So we were like, okay, the only thing we need to do is make it super easy for them to generate articles, and they'll see the power of AI, because normally it can take hours for a writer to complete an article. It can take hundreds of dollars as well, depending on who you're using. So we were like, let's just give it as quickly as possible, so within minutes, and it's completely free. So we did that, and then we had a lot of people saying, "Oh, this is incredible," and we generated the featured image and a load of other benefits as well. So that's what we did with Byword, and then with the SEO agency, we nailed our SEO, our sales process. We were like, we got it nailed. But then we were realizing, oh, people are getting cold feet early into the plan. And as you know, SEO can take a long time to see any sort of meaningful results. So we were like, okay, how can we just flip that on its head and get results very quickly so they can see they're on the right path, at the very least. So we've actually turned things around where even before they are properly onboarded, so this is before day one, so they've already signed the contract, they've paid our first month's invoice. Before we've officially kicked off, we'll actually do some work. So it's either optimizing existing articles to get very, very quick wins. They're nearly ranking for a few keywords. We just need to do some tweaks. Or it's fixing the huge technical issue that's holding back, hundreds or thousands of traffic. Or should we just create 5 very bottom funnel type pieces of content that are easy to rank for and instantly get them sales that way? So then we launch on day one and we publish whatever the quick win is. And by hopefully, if we plan it out correctly, hopefully by the end of month 1, they'll have something to look at and be like, hey, we just got this, even though month 1 typically isn't the time for that. So they're all the aha moments I embedded into there. And in terms of other companies, when I think about where have I had the biggest aha moment, it's got to be Loom. It's got to be Loom. The idea of saving hours of calls a month just from recording a quick 2-minute Loom video, because on calls you'd talk about what the weather's like and all that sort of stuff, and eventually you're just like, okay, let's actually talk about the thing we need to talk about. Takes 5 minutes and then you're done, but you've then had 30 minutes scheduled out of your day that you have to do that thing. So with Loom now, you just do it in 2 minutes, send it to them, they send one back, and you're done. It's taken 5 minutes. You can do it very async, and that was the biggest aha moment. And they've made it very easy for you to get to that because it's all free. You have a free plan. You can record it straight away. It lives on your computer. So that for me is the biggest one.
Yeah, Loom is astonishing. And I kicked myself because I had an opportunity to get a lifetime deal on it for very cheap, and I didn't at the time. But ultimately, it's worth the 20 quid or whatever a month. I'm not sure.
Still so cheap.
That much. Yeah, it was still so cheap for the amount of value it gives. And I use it for SOP processes, like teaching someone how to, when I build a website for them, teach them how to use the website. Here's a link, just follow me and I'll do it for you. It takes me 2 minutes, and then that saves so many questions. I use it for sales and development. And this one thing is just like, when I saw it and thought, as soon as you stop, it's already it's ready, and it's got already the clip is like copied. So next thing you just have to do is do Command V, Control V, and you can paste that anywhere. You don't even have to go to the website. It's already copied there for you to just paste and say, here you go. And that is like, what?
Well, and we, another big use case that I have is feedback for anything that we do. And I review a lot of stuff now, just from all people in my team. And I'm able to comment at the exact point that they talk about something, and they can see it timestamped on there. So like they just, for me, this is like the best example of them just really understanding the customer, talking to them probably a lot, and solving their problems. And they've built the best product that I can think of.
Yeah, absolutely love it. I use it a lot for customer services when I've got a problem with a product, and I'll do a Loom recording. Because quite often these live chats don't let you upload
images,
even a screenshot.
Crazy.
Yeah, so you can definitely paste a link, and this is me saying, I've tried your product and this isn't working. I don't know why, but this is the same flow go through. And one thing that really annoys me is when they go, I understand you have this problem. It's like, watch the Loom video. It takes 50 seconds, and then come back to me because I've tried to explain everything really well. Yeah, I love it. It's a complete game changer for me. Final aha moment question is, if you have any personal kind of life hacks or aha moments where you've thought, yeah, this is great for me. I need to make sure this is something I do going forward. I think I've got a few based on our brief discussion and seeing you over LinkedIn recently, but I'd love to hear from the horse's mouth.
Yeah, I think for me, it's probably all got to be down to productivity stuff. I think that's where, and it is incredibly simple. So for like project and task management, I use Google, all their suite. So I have Google Calendar, which I use to time block everything I'm doing in every single day for that week. So I know what I'm working on, when I need to do it, all that sort of stuff across all the businesses. And then I have because they allow you to add like different things on the page as well. So you can have your Google Notes there and your Google Tasks. So I've got one screen that is basically everything I need to do in any given day across everything.
Yeah.
So that's for like good planning. And I've tried everything, right? You know, ClickUp, Asana, Trello, even Apple Notes, tried that to be a little bit more edgy. And Notion I tried as well. But the whole Google suite, they just really have understand what exactly people want. And it's completely free as well, which is another benefit. And then so that's planning the work. And then for actually doing the work, for me, it's like I've recently discovered nicotine pouches. And just if you couple that with Hans Zimmer for music, then you're just absolutely locked in. So that's for doing the work, and planning the work is all about Google.
I did put a post on LinkedIn, and something I post about every year. It's like what movie score do you listen to when you're doing work? Because some just like switch me straight into it. For me, it's The Social Network, Atticus Ross and Trent Reznor. Their soundtrack often just like locks me into the flow. So, and I know Hans Zimmer. Some Hans Zimmer scores I run to and like exercise to, like the Gladiator one, and some just like get my head in the right. Okay, head down, check this out, get going with the work. I thought you might. Some of the ones I observed from just talking now and previously was like for yourself traveling, because you seem to enjoy traveling and being mobile. And you said right at the start, I just knew I wanted to be able to work just from a laptop. So how important is that for you as an ocean?
Well, I think you can think it might be an aha moment when you achieve all that and you're like, oh, I get to travel around and I have all the freedom in the world. But the grass is always greener with traveling, I find. It's like when I want to travel, it's when I've been stuck in one place. Like I'm in Dubai now, I've been here for a few months. I'm like craving a little bit of travel. But then when I'm traveling and living out of a suitcase, all I want is a base. So you can never really win with that. So I don't think it's an aha moment. It's more like it's more of the idea of traveling, or the idea of having a base that's kind of like that aha.
Okay, that's fair enough. Thank you for answering and proving me wrong. So as we record, like I say, it's December. Hopefully this will go out in January, this episode. So where can people look to find Kleo Pro if it's not out now? And it'll be out quite soon after they hear this. Well, we're
also building a wait list, so you'll get you'll probably get a little bit earlier access if you sign up to it. It's all for free, and there's probably some other benefits as well. So if you go to kleo.so/pro, we'll have everything there. We're just currently putting finishing touches on it, but we're ready hopefully next week. So definitely before this podcast is out.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jake. It's been great chatting to you, great getting to know you a bit more. And I'll see you you got a call later on, so I'll be on that. And
thanks for having me, mate. Appreciate it.
No problems at all. Thank you all for tuning in to this episode, and huge thanks, of course, to Jake Ward for taking the time to speak with me and to give you and impart his knowledge and information with you guys. Don't forget to go to kleo.so/pro if you want to join the waitlist to join and take part in Kleo Pro. Or if you want to use a free Chrome extension, just go to Chrome Extension Shop or Chrome Extension Store, whichever one you want to call it, and then type in Kleo, and you can download it and use it for free and start, revolutionizing your LinkedIn profile and your LinkedIn content that you're putting out there. If you like this episode, please do like, subscribe, and review, and leave a comment if you're watching on YouTube. Your feedback means the absolute world to me and the team, so it'd be much, much appreciated for you to do so. And also helps more people discover and learn from myself and also my guests on this show. Thank you very much. Until next time, keep chasing those light bulb moments.